Welcome to my latest case, Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. To start playing, choose either Junior or Senior Detective. If you're new to adventure games or need some help, choose Tutorial.
Alright, what's up guys, and I'm going to be playing some Nancy Drew today.
Dear Ned, remember Sally McDonald, the woman who took those photos that Dad has up in his office? Well, she just bought a house in Moon Lake, Pennsylvania. A gangster named Mickey Malone built it back in the 1920s as his country getaway. We're talking major fixer-upper. Anyway, last night Sally called and she said she desperately needed my detective skills. She refused to say why over the phone. Naturally, I said I'd drive to Moon Lake immediately. But weird things started happening the moment I pulled up. First, this big tree fell down behind my car and has me totally blocked in. And then I discovered that Sally's gone. She left a note that suggested something terrible happens here at night. She's supposed to call me from her car. So here I sit, writing to you while I wait for the phone to ring. It's nighttime, and although part of me is dying to know what frightened Sally away, another part of me is starting to feel a little uneasy. I'll let you know what happens. Ever yours, Nancy.
Get well water tested ASAP. Oh gosh, this maze of a map. Nancy, I'm really sorry, but I just can't face another night here. I'm going to go to my aunt's in Philadelphia. Door is open, make yourself at home, we'll call you from my car. Sally. P.S. My cell phone number is 215-555-5389. Get dead tree cut down. Check out squeaking mice.
Hello?
Nancy, hi, it's Sally. We have to talk fast because I'm in my car and my cell phone's running low, so we might get cut off. But did you see my note?
Yes, are you all right?
No, I feel awful bailing on you like that. You must think I'm such a flake.
I'm just worried about you. What's wrong?
I couldn't stand the thought of spending another night there. I knew you were on your way, but it didn't help. I just got too scared.
You make it sound like the house is haunted or something.
Not the house, the woods. Just wait until it gets dark. Then you'll see. What am I saying? Nancy, you shouldn't be there by yourself either. Why don't you just go get in your car and go home? Or drive to Philadelphia. My aunt's got plenty of room.
One of your trees seems to have other plans for me.
What do you mean?
Let me put it this way. Unless someone who just happens to have a chainsaw just happens to come by, my car's not going anywhere.
Oh, the dead maple beside the driveway. Oh, they told me it was in danger of falling over when I had the place inspected. I just never got around to doing anything about it. Listen, call M's Emporium. That's a store on the lake. Emily knows everybody. She'll know who to call if she decides to answer her phone.
It's late. Won't the store be closed?
Where's my brain? Okay, look. I just bought a little outboard motorboat. I haven't used it yet, but the guy who put it in for me said it should run just fine. It's tied up at the dock out front. Just get in it and go. Go anywhere. Just get away from the house.
Why? What on earth do you think is gonna happen?
The dogs. Those dogs. Out of nowhere. They're outside howling and snarling. Teeth and claws. Horrible.
Dogs? Hello? Did you say dogs? Hello? What is that?
Just testing something real quick. I put headphones in that actually have a mic attached, so I didn't know if this would mess it up. So I'm just testing real quick. But I just can't face it. Okay. Just testing something real quick. It sounds alright. Alright, that's fine.
The moon's so bright, I won't need my flashlight. Something's out there.
Now look what you've done. That was a Strix Varia. At least I think it was. Never know for sure now, will I?
A Strix what?
Strix Varia. A barred owl. Real hard to spot. And it doesn't help that you're out here making more noise than a jumbo jet.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean any harm.
My name's Red Knot. And if you've got a volume knob, I'd appreciate your taking it down a notch before you scare away everything from here to Lancaster.
I'm Nancy Drew. What were all those noises out here just now?
That was me, Miss Nancy Drew, calling in birds. And doing a pretty good job of it, too, till you showed up. Where'd you come from, anyway?
I drove in today from River Heights to visit my friend Sally McDonald.
Now, why would you want to do a thing like that? The Malone house is no place for one young woman, let alone two.
What do you know about the woman living here?
I talked to her a couple of times. But you know, the last time I saw her, she wasn't doing so good. She acted real anxious, scared.
What do you think was scaring her?
The dogs. The dogs of Mickey Malone. Legend goes that when Malone was finally arrested and hauled away, his 4 dogs went running off into the woods and were never seen again. People would just hear them, howling like their hearts were broken every night until one by one, they all died and went silent. But every time someone tries living in the Malone house, back they come.
What do the dogs do?
Every night, ever since she moved in, you could hear them howling. And some nights the dogs would appear outside the house, running around, snarling and barking and throwing themselves at the doors and windows. And then they'd be gone. They're buried in the cemetery just beyond the house, you know. Them and Malone, both.
Did they ever attack Sally?
She never gave them the chance. After the first attack, she stopped going out at night. Just locked the doors when it got dark and sat tight until morning.
The dogs would attack her house?
It's like they don't want anybody but Malone living there. I guess they don't know he's dead. And so are they.
Did she ever call the police?
This isn't New York City, Miss Nancy Drew. All they got around here is one officious little park ranger. And all Jeff Akers does is sit around all day trying to figure out how he can get himself transferred out of here to a bigger park.
Do you live close by?
I just come to Moon Lake in the spring to look for birds. Got an observation platform just up the path, kind of my base camp, and I've got a little outboard down there on the lake. Left my car at the big dock up lake. Don't really need it.
Are those the ghost dogs?
Yes, ma'am. Which is why I think it would be a good idea if I went my merry way and you got yourself back inside that house.
One more thing. The water in Sally's well needs to be tested. How do I do that?
Get a sampling kit from Jeff Akers. Ranger station's on the east side of the lake. Good luck, Miss Nancy Drew.
I'd better wait until daylight. This is not good.
Kind of reminds me of the dog who has green eyes and the Goosebumps TV series intro.
Hello?
Hey, Sally, it's Nancy.
Nancy, did you see them? Did you see the dogs?
Yes, I did, and I can understand why you left. They were pretty frightening. But if it's okay with you, I'd really like to stay and get to the bottom of whatever's going on. That's why you asked me here in the first place, right?
Yes, but Nancy, are you sure?
Positive. Consider Detective Drew officially on the case.
I wish I were even half the trooper you are, Nancy. I have such high hopes for that house. All the beauty there, the wildlife, all the pictures I was going to take. It would break my heart to have to give it up.
I need you to tell me everything you can about those dogs.
They're black and they have yellow glowing eyes and they don't like me one bit.
When's the first time you saw them?
Well, let's see. I heard them the very first night I was here. I heard them almost every night, howling in the distance, but I didn't actually see them until I'd been here about a week. After that, they started appearing pretty much every other night.
When they appeared, did they always do the same thing?
Yes, come to think of it. They always came running up to the house, barking and snarling. They'd lunge at the windows, they'd jump up on the door, they'd run around and bark some more, then they'd run off. What are you getting at?
These attacks seem to involve a lot of choreography, which reinforces my theory that you're not being randomly attacked by a pack of wild dogs, but by dogs who've been trained by someone determined to scare you out of your house at Moon Lake.
Who would want to do that? My closest neighbor lives 2 miles away. My property is surrounded by the state park, but it's off-season, so hardly anybody is in the park. In fact, I bet I talked to a total of 3 people the whole 4 weeks I was at Moon Lake.
Which 3 people?
Let's see, the park ranger, I forget his name, kind of a pain in the neck. Emily Griffin, she's the one who owns that store I told you about. And I ran into this bird watcher a couple of times. Had a funny name.
Red Knot. I've run into him too.
Other than people I may have nodded hello to while getting gas or something, I swear those are the only people I've talked to at Moon Lake.
What about River Heights? Can you think of anyone there who'd want you to sell your house at Moon Lake and move back to River Heights?
You mean like an angry ex-boyfriend or something? Nope, I sure can't.
Since I'm going to be staying here a while, is there anything I should know about the place?
Well, let's see. I've got the water turned off because it's well water and it needs to be tested before I can use it for anything. In fact, if you could get that testing done for me, I'd really appreciate it. Oh, and watch where you walk in the living room. Some of the floorboards are so rotten you could fall right through. And I keep hearing these faint squeaks and rustling type noises coming from below the floor. I hope you're not scared of mice.
How do I go about getting your water tested?
Try the ranger station on the east side of the lake. I've been told you can get some kind of kit there.
Who did you say I should call about getting rid of that tree?
Emily Griffin. She doesn't bother answering her phone sometimes, so don't call her. Go see her. Her store's on the west side of the lake. And brace yourself, M's Emporium is something else.
How well do you know her?
I feel like I've known her all my life. She's so open and friendly. She likes to make it sound as if Moon Lake used to be a major hangout for criminals and degenerates, which isn't really true and irks some people around here no end. But I figure she's just trying to make a buck.
I'm curious. Why did you characterize the park ranger as a pain in the neck?
I left part of a ham sandwich on a picnic table once. Big mistake. From the way he carried on, you'd think I just made the FBI's 10 most wanted list. I don't think he likes me. Emily says it's because I wrecked his dream of becoming super ranger or something when I bought the Malone house instead of the parks department. Me, I think he just basically has a problem relating to people unless they're asking questions or breaking the law.
Talk to you later.
Thanks again, Nancy.
Nancy, how's it going?
Hey, Bess. How'd you know it was me?
Telepathy, of course. Just another of my many talents. You are so full of it. She got caller ID, Nancy. So now, instead of hanging up on the geeks that always call her, she just doesn't answer the phone. Very funny. So what's up?
I like George's voice. I know that the voices change over the course of the games because not all voice actors are able to continue. I think it'd be pretty cool to be a voice actor, actually.
Believe it or not, on some nights, this house gets attacked by a pack of dogs. Sally's so scared of them, she left me here by myself.
Did you say dogs? She couldn't have, George. Dogs don't attack houses.
They were definitely dogs. They came out of nowhere and started leaping at the windows and scratching at the doors like they wanted to get in.
Maybe that was just their way of being friendly.
These dogs were not friendly, believe me, and they had glowing yellow eyes. A birdwatcher I ran into said they were ghosts.
Ghosts?
The man who built Sally's place on Moon Lake was a gangster. The birdwatcher said that the ghosts of his dogs show up every time someone new tries to live here.
The place is haunted by ghost dogs? Like there's such a thing as ghosts. But it does sound like you've got another mystery on your hands, Detective Drew.
I could sure use a nice big hint right about now.
With a boat, you could really do some exploring. Sally said you could use hers. Go for it.
Bye, you guys.
See ya. Bye.
I can't remember if I did senior detective or junior detective. Leaves that appear on a fresh spring tree make my birth different from the other three. When swans drift by in a shimmering blue, I'm the one who plays in the summer dew. When autumn's call brings out the deer, it is I who howls on mornings clear. And when winter comes and birds take flight, look to me to sleep through the long gray night.
Rotten floorboards, watch your...
And cue.
Those look too rotten. A face only a gnome could love. Oh, the key broke off. It's locked. The boat's full of water. I need to bail out the boat. The spark plug is missing. I gotta have some torque. This must be Red's observation platform. I better be careful.
Yeah, because this is the dreaded spot where you can easily get lost. Okay, so down. See, I get stuck all the time.
I better be careful.
Let's try this again. Okay, so left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right. See, I still don't okay.
I better be careful.
Left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, right. Got it. Perfect. I think these are the name of the ghost dogs, so I'm gonna write these down.
Looks like paw prints.
And what we need to do to get out of here is just do the opposite instructions.
They need to be fastened to the floor. It's still not fixed. They need to be fastened to the floor. It's still not fixed.
Alright.
Hello?
Hey, Sally, it's Nancy.
Nancy, hi. How's it going?
Your outboard motorboat is missing a spark plug. Is there one around here by any chance?
I wouldn't know a spark plug if I swallowed one whole. But you need that boat, Nancy. Right now, it's your lifeline. You can't use your car, and believe me, you can't walk anywhere because all the paths around the house end in this thick, horrible brush. You've got to get it fixed. Wait a minute. The bird watcher, he's got a boat. Maybe you could borrow his spark plug or something. Go down the path that's to the right as you look out toward the lake from the house, and you'll eventually see his observation platform. Try him at night. He never seems to be around during the day.
Where'd all that stuff in your tool shed come from?
It's just junk left behind by previous owners. Came with the house. I've been meaning to take inventory and start pitching stuff, but I didn't. If they ever make procrastination a crime, I'm done for.
Same.
The wall hanging in the living room with a poem on it, and those dog carvings in that cabinet above the sofa. What can you tell me about them?
Aren't they cool? They came with the place. So did the clock. Apparently, Malone had them custom made when he built the house. In fact, they're all built into the house. They're still there because you can't move them.
Does anything happen when you turn those dog carvings?
Not that I know of. But that clock, one day, I was messing with the hands. You know, trying to get them to work. And all of a sudden, one of the 4 little doors flew open, and instead of a cuckoo, this dog popped out and barked 3 times. It's a doggy clock. That Malone, bad as he was, he sure loved those dogs.
Are you aware that you're the proud owner of your very own cemetery?
Yes. When the realtor told me there was a cemetery on the property, I went, ugh. But when I saw how far from the house it was and how small it was, I decided I could live with it, as it were.
Do you know if Malone is really buried there?
The realtor said the cemetery was just a sham, that there's nothing under those tombstones but dirt. But he may have just been saying that so I'd buy the place. The only way to know for sure whether or not Malone is there is to start digging, and I'm certainly not going to do that.
Talk to you
Can't
later.
blame
Keep me
her.
posted.
We're gonna change it tonight and then talk to Red.
Well, it's Miss Nancy Drew.
Does that mean you'd like me to call you Mr. Red Knot?
All right, then. Hello, Nancy. Now put a muffler on it, would ya? I just heard a cerulean warbler.
Did you say last night that you have an outboard motorboat?
Sure do. Only type of motorized vehicle that's allowed on Moon Lake. Heck, if it were up to me, I'd ban them too. Have everybody get around by canoe. Nothing like the threat of physical activity to keep tourists away.
Why don't you like tourists?
I came to see birds, not people. The more people there are in a forest, the fewer birds there are. It's a fact of life. Reason I like to come here is because nobody else does. It's perfect. Not a decent grocery store, restaurant, or motel for miles.
You don't happen to have any spare spark plugs lying around, do you?
What's a pretty young lady like you know about spark plugs?
Enough to know that the engine on Sally's boat is missing one, and that I'm going to be stuck here unless and until I replace it.
I might be able to help you out. After all, I was a Boy Scout. Be prepared.
You mean you have a spark plug I could buy?
Well, just so happens I've got 2 spark plugs right here in my pocket. Question is, if I give you one, what do I get for it? I don't need cash, but maybe you could take a few pictures for me. Know how to use a digital camera?
I'd be concerned about this request if it wasn't a family game.
Sure. What would you like me to take pictures of?
Birds, of course. There's a couple of birds I'm supposed to take pictures of for PepSob. That's People for the Preservation and Study of Birds. You can recognize them by their songs, which are on this tape, which you can play on my cassette player, which you're gonna have to get from M's Emporium as soon as you get your boat fixed. Think you can handle that?
Sounds good.
Here's everything you'll need. M's Emporium is up lake on the west side. Not that I'm trying to get you out of my hair or anything, but try not to come pestering me till you're done, okay? One more thing. You smoke?
Only when I'm on fire.
Oh, you're a spunky one, aren't you? Well, these woods may not look it, but they're tinder dry. One lit match, and the best bird habitat on the East Coast will go up in smoke. So watch what you do, because if anything like that happens, I won't be looking for birds anymore, I'll be looking for you. Watch yourself out there. You find all the birds?
See you in a while.
Watch yourself out there.
Alright. That's done. Okay, he gave me the spark plug. I was like, I really can't go anywhere without that, so you're out of luck if you don't actually give it to me.
It's not safe to take the boat out at night. Gotta have some torque. Gotta have some torque.
Okay, I have no idea what's going on because I did what it told me to. Oh, wow, okay. There was no indication that that actually worked for me, so I was feeling a little confused. Boating regulations. The use of motors in excess of 18 horsepower is prohibited. All persons on board any type of boat or kayak shall wear a Coast Guard approved personal flotation device at all times. The mooring of boats to any dock, wharf, pier. Ooh. Oh. That's funny. Okay. The mooring of boats to any dock, wharf, pier, shop, or boat launch in a manner that interferes with public use or creates a hazard to swimmers or other watercraft is prohibited. Sailboats greater than 14 feet in length and multi-hull sailboats are prohibited. Inflatable boats must be greater than 7 feet in length, made of tough reinforced fabric, and have at least 2 separate buoyancy chambers exclusive of any inflatable floor or bottom. All boats must display a state park launch permit, which can be obtained from your local park ranger once your boat passes his or her inspection. Critters. Moon Lake, white-tailed deer, chipmunks, cottontail rabbits, otters, and skunks are some of the more common animals in Moon Lake State Park. All wildlife can be dangerous. Never approach, harass, or feed any animals, even small ones. Birds. Common shorebirds include the great blue heron and the mallard. East Beach provides ample opportunities for bird watching. South area. The portion of the park is closed to visitors as several rare birds, such as the yellow-bellied flycatcher, are known to breed in this area of the lake. Fishing restrictions. I don't really feel like reading that part. What's in a name? Moon Lake is an apt moniker for the crescent-shaped freshwater lake, one of the Pennsylvania's best-kept secrets. The lake is home to various species of fish, including trout, carp, and freshwater bass. Fishing is permitted with a fishing license. Welcome to Moon Lake State Park. Drop by the visitor center and say hi to our park ranger. The center provides all your needed information for a fun and enjoyable time at Moon Lake. Civilian Conservation Corps. In 1932, when the United States was in the throes of the Great Depression, presidential candidate Franklin D. Roosevelt recognized that the country was facing two very serious problems: as natural resources were rapidly being destroyed by soil erosion and deforestation, and thousands of able-bodied men were unemployed and desperately looking for work. So when he was elected, Roosevelt immediately compelled Congress to pass the Emergency Conservation Work Act. It called for the establishment of a peacetime army of men who, stationed at various camps throughout the country, would undertake work projects that would save and revitalize the nation's forests while allowing the men to earn much-needed paychecks. By the end of 1935, this army, called the Civilian Conservation Corps, had been successfully mobilized and was hard at work. 500,000 enrollees were stationed at 2,650 camps, which were located in all 48 states as well as the territories of Hawaii and Alaska. The men undertook projects ranging from building roads and fire towers to stringing telephone lines to planting billions of trees. When the CCC was abolished in 1942, it had left its mark on every state in the nation. The importance of its role in the development of recreational facilities in national, state, county, and metropolitan parks throughout the country cannot be understated. The building in which you're now sitting in is a testament to the dedication and determination of Roosevelt's Tree Army. Poison ivy. Learn to identify the poison ivy plant and you will have taken the first step in avoiding poison ivy. The popular saying, leaves of tree 3, beware of me, is some people are very sensitive to poison ivy. They can develop a severe rash with blisters and extreme swelling. Such severe cases need medical treatment. You can prevent the misery of poison ivy by looking out for the plant when you are outdoors. You can destroy these weeds with herbicides in your backyard. Forest fire prevention. It's up to the people using our nation's parks and forest lands to prevent forest fires. While some fires are started by lightning, the most devastating fires tend to be started by human carelessness. Use common sense. No smoking allowed anywhere on park grounds. Don't let 1 minute of carelessness destroy what it took nature decades to create. Lyme disease is an infection caused by a bacterium carried by deer ticks. The spring and summer months pose the greatest risk of infection. Deer ticks flourish in wooded, brushy, or grassy areas where the animals, rodents, deer, and birds on which they feed are abundant. Early signs: fever, fatigue, chills, headache, muscle and joint aches. Distinctive rash that resembles a bullseye. Wear light-colored clothing so you can see ticks and knock them away before they attach to your skin. Yuck. Always wear a long-sleeve shirt and tuck in the bottom of your pants into your socks or boots. Inspect your skin carefully after every outing, and if you find any ticks, remove them by grasping them with a pair of tweezers, then pulling with a firm, steady motion and washing the area with antiseptic. Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome can cause acute respiratory failure and death. The rodent most likely to transmit the disease to humans is the deer mouse. A deer mouse infected with the hantavirus does not act or appear sick. Infection occurs when tiny particles from deer mouse saliva, urine, and droppings containing the virus are kicked up into the air, a process called aerosolization, and inhaled. Fatigue, fever, muscle aches, headaches, chills, abdominal problems. avoid these areas or take precautions when cleaning them. Wear a respiratory mask and rubber gloves and thoroughly wet down the area with the bleach and water solution. 9 parts water, 1 part bleach. 0. Never sweep an area inhabited by mice, as sweeping would stir up particles which could then be inhaled. Remove dirt from the area with a damp towel, mop, or sponge. Double bag the cleaning materials before disposing of them. Beaver fever is an illness caused by a parasite that lives in the intestines of people and animals. These hard-shelled cysts are expelled into the environment in the waste matter of infected animals or humans and stay in the soil until they contaminate a food source and are accidentally ingested, or until they are carried into streams, rivers, lakes, or recreational bodies of water, such as pools and hot tubs. Symptoms: diarrhea, abdominal cramps, stomach upset. Never drink untreated water from streams or lakes when hiking or camping, and always wash or peel raw fruits and vegetables that may have come in contact with contaminated soil or water. If you must use water that you suspect contains Giardia, heat the water to a rolling boil for at least 1 minute, or filter it using a filter that has been NSF rated for cyst removal. It's very contagious, but it's preventable by washing hands thoroughly with soap and water before eating or handling food and after using the toilet. Okay, so we read all those.
Hello, can I help you?
Hi, my name's Nancy Drew. I'm visiting Sally McDonald. Are you the park ranger?
Park Ranger Jeff Akers, at your service. Let's see, Sally McDonald is the woman who bought the old Malone place.
That's right. Only she's gone back to Philadelphia. Malone's dogs got to her.
Don't tell me she believes all that ghost dog stuff.
So you know the legend?
I know almost everything about this area. Not only have I lived here all my life, but you're standing in the unofficial Moon Lake Museum of Factual and Natural History. I'm its equally unofficial curator.
What's your take on all this ghost dog stuff?
Whatever's out there, I'm sure they're no more and no less than exactly what they look and sound like. Dogs. Living, breathing, very noisy dogs.
Any idea what would make a dog's eyes glow yellow?
Something in their diet, maybe? Some oddball vitamin or protein.
Why do you think dogs would attack Sally's house?
Dogs can be trained to do almost anything.
Do you have something I could use to test the well water at Sally's?
Sure do. Simple to use, too. Just pump some water into this vial, return the sample to me, I'll send it off, and in a day or two, you'll find out whether or not your water's fit to drink.
Do wells go bad very often?
Depends on when they were dug. The older they are, the more susceptible to contamination they are.
What do you know about the cemetery behind the Malone house?
People are buried there. Beyond that, what's to know?
Is Malone buried there?
That's the rumor.
The inscription on one of the tombstones reads Waldo Matthias. Does that name ring any bells?
Not in my steeple.
Would you mind mailing this letter for me?
Not at all.
Would it be okay if I looked around?
Please do. And if you have any questions, any more questions, just ask.
Thanks for all your help.
Always a pleasure. Oh, and one last thing. The deer mouse population has boomed this year, so please take precautions if you're cleaning out any area where they may have nested. They can carry some nasty diseases.
Thanks for the tip, Ranger Akers.
Did you know that the growth rings on a tree indicate its age and the environmental conditions in which it grew? The cross section is a reproduction of a pine tree that was 62 years old when it was cut down.
I probably shouldn't mess around with this without Ranger Akers' permission.
Wow, that's stunning. First residents of Moon Lake were members of the Lenape tribe, one of several Algonquin-speaking tribes that populated the northeastern U.S. for hundreds, if not thousands of years prior to the arrival of settlers from Europe. Because the early colonists had trouble pronouncing Lenape, they lumped the tribe in with all the other Algonquin-speaking tribes they encountered and referred to this larger group as the Delaware Indians. This is because many of the Algonquin-speaking tribes lived in the large drainage basin of the Delaware River, which had been named after an Englishman whose title was Lord de la Ware. Curious and friendly, the Lenape were hospitable to the early colonists, but as the number of settlers grew, so did the tension between the two groups. The Lenape believed that all land belonged to the Creator, and as a result, they had difficulty understanding the concept of private ownership, by which the Europeans seemed to live. The Lenape gradually migrated west, settling for brief periods in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, and Kansas. At each place, the Lenape were told that was to be their new home. But after a few years, the Europeans would change their minds and force them to move again. They finally settled in Oklahoma, where more than 11,000 Lenape still live today. Famous residents. In the early 20th century, many celebrities from the East Coast spent time here, including Florence Ziegfeld, famous producer of Broadway musicals and revues. In fact, in 1926, his boat, the Foley King, ran into the rocks at the north end of the lake and capsized. Nobody was hurt, but rather than going to the bother of repairing the boat, Ziegfeld simply left it there. Legend has it that for years a local dog would swim out to the wreck every day and lie on it, barking at everyone who came near. The boat gradually disintegrated until now no trace of it remains. Local legend has it that Ben Franklin spent the summer of 1744 on Moon Lake's south shore, which has led to speculation that his interest in lightning and electricity were sparked by his experiences here. Moon Lake has had some infamous residents as well. In 1925, at the height of Prohibition, Mickey Malone, a gangster from Philadelphia who got rich smuggling and distributing illegal liquor, built a house on the North Shore at the site of the old Rush farm. People came from up and down the East Coast to attend the parties he threw at Moon Lake. He was convicted of tax evasion in 1933 and sent to prison, where he eventually died.
there. Welcome to M's Emporium. I'm Emily Griffin.
I'm Nancy Drew. Sally McDonald said you might be able to help me.
I like helping people. Of course, I like selling them stuff even better. But keep talking.
Well, Sally invited me to come out and stay with her for a while. But right now, I need a chainsaw.
A chainsaw?
What I really need is for someone to come out and remove the tree that fell in Sally's driveway.
I'll get Tucker Davis to take care of it. Gotta warn you, though. Tucker tends to do things in his own sweet time. So how come Sally ain't with you?
She thinks the Malone place is haunted, and after last night, I can see why.
I told her. I said, Sally, that old house is gonna be nothing but trouble. And sure enough, Malone's hounds have come back. Just when we all thought they were finally resting in peace.
Have you ever seen the dogs?
Nope. Don't want to, neither. Just hearing them howl's bad enough. Scares the bejeebies out of me.
I got the bejeebies scared out of me twice last night. Just before I saw the dogs, I caught a man named Red Knot prowling around outside the house.
The bird watcher. Comes in every so often to stock up on that weirdo food he eats. You know how them tree hugger types are.
It seemed to me that he was more into watching birds than hugging trees.
Yeah, well, whatever. One thing's for sure. He's gonna wind up with a dose of buckshot in his hind end if he keeps tramping through people's yards making noises like he just popped out of a UFO.
Mr. Knott did me a favor, and in return he asked me to pick up a cassette player from you.
Oh, yeah. I got it right here. Thought maybe the old coot had forgotten he left it here. What else can I do you for?
These so-called ghost dogs left very real paw prints. I saw some near the cemetery that's by the Malone house. Have you ever been there?
Can't say as I have. Poking around cemeteries ain't exactly a hobby with me.
Does the name Waldo Matthias mean anything to you?
Can't say as it does.
Where do you find your... Achoo!
Bless you. It's all the dust. Sometimes I think it grows on this stuff.
Some of those old bottles are beautiful. Where'd you get them?
Found 'em. See, back in the days of Prohibition, that old Malone place used to be party central. Only way to get to and from back then was by boat. And when those boats dumped, on account of bad weather or bad driving or the feds suddenly showing up, well, everything from diamond necklaces to full bottles of illegal booze sank to the bottom of the lake.
So it's finders keepers, huh?
That's right. See, recovering objects from the lake bed is illegal. According to Squeaky Wheel Acres, dragging the lake for artifacts was upsetting its delicate eco-balance. So thanks mostly to his constant squawking, the state banned it.
Squeaky Wheel Acres?
Jeff Akers, local park ranger. I keep telling him all this stuff washed up on shore. But does that snobby little stickler for rules believe me?
Sounds like you aren't real fond of Ranger Akers.
Jeff Akers can take all his precious rules and regulations and take a flying leap. Now, I got nothing against getting more customers in here, mind you. But I kind of like Moon Lake the way it is. Small, quiet, out of the way. But Jeff Akers, why, there's nothing he'd like better than to see all the lake and all the property around it turned into one big, noisy, jam-packed state park.
Why would he want that?
He's the type of guy who likes to boss people around, makes them feel important. So if the park got way bigger and was crawling with tourists, why, instead of giving out maybe one ticket for littering every 2 days, he'd be giving out 12 tickets every 2 hours. He'd be in heaven. Well, hey, I'm sure you got better things to do than getting your ear chewed off by yours truly.
Guess I'll see you later.
Keep on trucking.
By a piece of the past, 80 years ago, Moon Lake was crawling with gangsters, flappers, and jazz musicians from the big city. They traveled to and from parties by boat and were so rich that if they accidentally dropped something in the lake, they wouldn't even bother going after it. Each item you see here was fished out of Moon Lake and most likely belonged to some wealthy big shot. Don't go home without buying at least one genuine artifact from the Roaring '20s.
I don't need water right now.
Wow, I didn't mean to do that.
I don't need water right now.
You're back.
I have that water sample. What do I do with it?
Just give it to me, and I'll take care of it.
Thanks for all your help.
That's why I'm here.
I need a camera. Oops, can't take a picture without a camera. Oops, can't take a picture without a camera.
American goldfinch. Northern cardinal. Red-tailed hawk. Western tanager.
Here, birdie, birdie, birdie. Here, birdie, birdie, birdie.
American goldfinch.
Missed it. Darn, it flew away. I must have scared it. Darn, it flew away.
Yeah, fourth time.
I must have scared it. I must have scared it. I must have scared it.
Man, I keep messing this up.
You find all the birds?
I found some birds, but no matter how quiet I am, I've been scaring other birds away before I can take their picture. What am I doing wrong?
You're wearing those clothes. That's what you're doing wrong. You need to blend in, like me. Go back over to M's tacky tourist trap and get yourself some camouflage gear. Only sensible thing that money grubber carries.
I'm sorry, but finding those birds is harder than I thought it would be. Can you give me any tips?
You gotta look for them. This isn't gonna be any Sunday picnic, you know? And try early in the morning. That's when most of them are singing.
See you in a while.
Just remember, eyes open, mouth shut.
It's stuck. I need some sandpaper.
and I'll be right back. I'm coming back. Just to grab it. Don't even look at me. Ow. Oh, I'm sorry. She could bother me. So she doesn't have to bother you.
Howdy, Nancy.
I need to buy something.
You want it? I got it. Long as you pay cash, that is.
That's just it. I'm running kind of low on cash. Would it be possible to start a line of credit?
My daddy always said, neither a borrower nor a lender be. But I'll tell you what, seeing as how you're a friend of Sally's, and seeing as how I got some things around here that could use doing, I guess we could work something out. What is it you need?
To make a long story short, I need some camouflage gear.
Got some right over here. One size fits all. But I'm running kind of low on bait. So if you go out and get me, say a dozen little critters, I'll give you the camos.
A dozen little critters?
Worms, spiders, beetles, grubs. Anything that wriggles on its belly'll do. Just look under stuff. Rocks, logs, dead leaves. Should be able to find 12 in no time.
Do I need some kind of permit?
Things ain't quite that bad around here. Least not yet. Now, if Jeff Akers' daddy was still around, you might get arrested for cruelty to animals or some such nonsense. Joe Akers used to be the deputy sheriff. Real critter lover, that one was.
Joe Akers is Jeff's father?
That's right.
Do you sell sandpaper by any chance?
I do, but Mr. Birdbrain was in last week and cleaned me out. Said he was tired of that observation platform of his giving him splinters in his hinter regions.
I've disturbed him enough already. Would anyone else around here have some?
He's your only hope, but you better ask him for it quick. That deck of his is pretty big, and those squares I sold him are pretty small.
Any word from Tucker, what's his name? He hasn't been by to move that tree yet.
I'll give him another call. But like I said, the man marches to the beat of another drummer. A very slow drummer.
Guess I'll see you later.
I guess you will.
Those look too rotten.
Nancy, how's it going?
This caller ID stuff is going to take some getting used to.
I'm here too, Nan. What's going on?
There's a private cemetery in the woods out back. Malone and his dogs are supposedly buried there.
Creepy.
And there were paw prints in the cemetery. Fresh paw prints.
Are you sure you're going to be all right there by yourself? We'd volunteer to drive out there and keep you company, but unfortunately my car's in the shop, and you know what a scaredy cat George is.
That's okay. There's really no room, and believe me, living conditions here are pretty primitive.
Scaredy cat, huh? You're gonna pay for that remark, dear cousin.
Moon Lake is gorgeous, but it's so remote. The park ranger is the closest thing they have to a sheriff around here.
Park ranger? What's he like?
Which, as we all know, is Bess's way of saying, park ranger? Is he cute?
Not true, George. Nancy thinks everybody's cute, so what would be the point? Anyway, Nancy, you were saying?
Well, he seems like an okay guy, but frankly, nobody around here seems to like him very much.
Why's that?
He takes his job very seriously, which tends to rub some people the wrong way.
Did you tell him about the ghost dogs?
He thinks they're just plain old dogs that for some reason like to run around at night scaring people.
And what does Detective Drew think about the dogs?
I think Sally had good reason to be scared of them. I don't blame her for leaving, which leads me to think that maybe that was the whole idea.
Somebody had those dogs attack Sally in order to scare her away?
Why would anybody do that? She was there for less than a month.
You'd have to be a total creep to make enemies that fast. And Sally's one of the nicest people I know.
Ooh, Nancy! Speaking of cute guys, Frank and Joe Hardy called. I filled them in on where you are and what you're doing, and they're dying to hear from you.
Great. Did they leave a number?
Their number is 280-555-4865. Bess didn't recognize it when they called and almost didn't answer the phone.
Good thing my cousin here has a memory like an elephant, huh?
What's that supposed to mean?
Call them, Nancy. They're dying to hear from you. But remember, Frank's cute and all that, but George and I want to hear from you, too.
Yeah, no fair discussing the case with them from now on and not with us. Promise you'll keep us up to speed?
I promise. This birdwatcher I met has got me taking pictures of birds for some survey he's doing. He's a bit of a grump.
Does he live nearby?
No, he just kind of hangs out in the woods. In fact, I only see him at night.
Interesting. He's in the woods at night. The dogs are in the woods at night.
Could he have had a reason for wanting Sally out of the Malone house?
As far as I know, he and Sally were on good terms. But I also know that Red doesn't seem to have much use for any life form that doesn't molt.
He sounds like my Uncle Zach. He's into birds. Only he doesn't watch them. He hunts them, then shoots them. I never really liked my Uncle Zach.
Did I mention that all the water in Sally's house comes from a well?
Ew, really? Does it taste like rotten eggs?
Not all well water tastes like rotten eggs, Bess.
I don't know if it does or not. Because the well is so old, I need to get the water tested before I drink it.
Good plan. Nothing will wreck your day faster than a nice tall glass of contaminated water.
I could sure use a nice big hint right about now.
To take pictures of those birds, you're gonna have to set your clock for the crack of dawn.
Crack of dawn. Just saying the words makes me yawn. I hope you're more of a morning person than I am.
Bye, you guys.
Good luck, Nancy.
And stay in touch.
Hello?
Hey, Joe. It's Nancy.
Nancy, how's it going? No, wait, don't answer that. Talk about the weather or something.
The weather?
Yeah, that'll give me time to grab the other phone and take it outside. Frank's washing the car. He'll kill me if he misses anything. Here, wait a sec. Take a break, it's Nancy. Hang on, he's putting the hose down. He's drying his hands. He's walking over.
Nancy, hi. What's up? Bess and George say you've got another mystery on your hands.
Or should we say, on your paws.
They told you about the dogs?
We made them tell us everything. Pumped them dry.
As you may have guessed, we're not exactly rolling in detective work here.
So you're living vicariously through me.
It's not the first time, sad to say.
What conclusions have you reached so far, Detective?
I'm convinced that someone is using those ghost dogs to scare Sally into abandoning Malone's house. If I can just figure out why, I might be able to figure out who.
Never hurts to look for motive.
Malone and his 4 dogs are supposedly buried in a little cemetery near the house. They've all got headstones inscribed with when they were born and when they died.
That's interesting. Did Malone have family?
Not that I'm aware of.
Then who had the tombstones inscribed?
That's exactly what I was wondering.
Sounds like this latest puzzle of yours is still missing a few pieces.
I seem to be getting nowhere fast. Anybody have any suggestions?
We can probably come up with a few.
But we're not going to make it easy for you.
After all, it's your case, not ours. No sleeping in for you until you get those bird pictures taken.
Later, guys.
We'll be waiting.
Hello?
Hey, Sally, it's Nancy.
Nancy, hi. How's it going?
Talk to you later.
Keep me posted.
Okay, now I'm back. Okay, now I'm back.
I'd better wait until daylight.
How's the bird watching coming along?
I'm sorry to keep bugging you, but I need some sandpaper. Emily said you might have some.
Here, take it and scram. I was just about to call in a meadowlark. That was always Ruth's favorite.
Was Ruth your wife?
Good heavens, no. My wife had no patience for birding. Ruth was my dog. Border collie. She'd hear a meadowlark, and by golly, her ears would perk, and she'd cock her head, and she'd just come as close to smiling as ever a dog could.
Was she the only dog you ever had?
Yep. Wouldn't be worth the hassle anymore. Especially now that I'm retired and spend so much time at Moon Lake. The place is surrounded by park land, and Ranger Acres just loves enforcing the leash laws. There it is again. Take your sandpaper and go sand something, okay?
Sounds doable.
It's stuck. It could be mice making that sound. It looks like a tiny hole.
Time to find more bugs. Oh, shoot! Okay, I'm going to be back another time. I have Masked Singer to watch. Forgot about it. Sorry, guys. I will be back then.